Probably not at all, but we'll see. Oh, looks like we got a little something. I see the little green thing there. Let me see. Let me get this here. Oh shit, we back in action, man. Back in fucking action. Got the sound back. Can't tell me shit. Tell me nothing, man. So now that everybody missed all my fucking picks from the first fucking 3 fights that I just put, because I'm fucking talking to a ghost. The one time I don't check my goddamn mic and I just start talking, and I'm fucking muted the one time. Every other time it goes off without a hitch. I'm not muted, not muted, not muted. I go 3 fights in, I finally check. I'm fucking muted the whole time. But anyway, Kevin Aguilar, Zybura Tukarov. I talked about, it's going to be a stand-up fight. If it goes to the ground, Zybura's got it 150%. He'll take over. You're out of your mind. I mean, it's a different weight class, man. Nah, Tito Ortiz wouldn't smoke him. That's a different weight class, though, Greg. It's good to see you. Or hear from you. I guess I can't see you, right? But Aguilar and Tukarov should be a stand-up war. I got Tukarov by decision. Then we got Brad Riddle versus Magomed Mustafaev. Magomed is he trains at City Kickboxing and Tiger Muay Thai. He's a stand-up fighter, 7-1. His 1 UFC wins over Jamie Malarkey in his debut, and he will be fighting Magomed Mustafaev. Yeah, the Vice is ready. Go fuck yourself. Magomed Mustafaev, 15-2, 11 out of 15 of his wins are TKO or knockouts. Both his losses are via submission, which you won't have to worry about going against a stand-up with Brad Riddle. He trains at American Top Team, and his 1 UFC loss is to Kevin Lee. He's only really susceptible to the ground, the wrestlers, the jiu-jitsu players, and he's got a lot of knockout power. And if Brad Riddle tries to stand with him, not a good idea. He's an old 205er, but he would beat the brakes off of those guys. I mean, 205ers, you got to think, walk around like 220, 230 maybe sometimes. And 155ers probably walk around like 175, 180 tops. So, I mean, dude's got like 50 pounds on him, regardless of his age. And both Felder and Hooker, both stand-up guys, kickboxers, Muay Thai fighters, and Tito Ortiz is a wrestler. So he's bigger. He's 40 pounds bigger, and he's a wrestler. He's going to take him down. He would probably beat him if they weighed the same fucking thing and he was old. He's just a little bit bigger, If he wasn't, even if he was like a fucking welterweight, or no, these guys are fighting at welterweight. My bad, not 155. Even if he was a middleweight and these guys are welterweights, like 1 weight class up, he would still probably beat him because he's a wrestler and he's got a little bit of size on him. Now he's got like 20, 30 pounds on these guys, easy, and he's a wrestler. It's a no-brainer, even if he's old. But nah, you're crazy with your what ifs. Smoke Jones blindfolded, and now you're smoking crack. That's okay. It's all right. I hope that you get in rehab, Greg, because the crack is no good. No good. I wouldn't fuck with the crack, buddy. Tito Ortiz wouldn't stand a chance against John Jones. Not a lot of people wouldn't stand a chance against John Jones. I got Magomed Mustafaev by TKO first round. Then I was talking about Ben Sassoli, Marcos de Lima, another stand-up fight. Sassoli's had a lot of chances. It was a great fight against Dustin Johnson in the Contender Series that got a no contest because he poked him in the eye. Then he was losing the fight to Greg Hardy, but Greg Hardy uses an inhaler, so that changed to a no contest. Marcos Rogero de Lima, though, is also a stand-up fighter, 16-6-1 with 11 TKOs or knockouts. 4 out of 6 is lost by submission. You won't have to worry about that with Sassoli, but he is 5-4 in the UFC. His most recent fight was a submission loss to Stefan Struve. Again, not going to have to worry about the submission. Going to come in a lot bigger than Ben Sassoli, a lot more range, and probably a good bit more power. So I'm going to go with Marcos Rogero de Lima there. Karolina Kovacevic and Jan Zaydan, I think, is going to be one of the more boring kind of fights on the card. Um, Carolina's 12-5, 5-5 in the UFC, which means that she was 7-0 before coming into the UFC. And then came into the UFC and went 500. 9-3 when it goes to a decision in her career, and currently she's on a 3-fight losing streak. Uh, Jan is 11-1-1. Her one loss was by submission. 5 out of 11 of her wins are via TKO or knockout, and her most recent win is over Angela Hill last June 2019. Angela Hill, by the way, becoming the Donald Cerrone of women's MMA, fighting all the time, short notice, somebody gets injured, she steps in. She's the woman to step in. It's bad. It's mad badass. If she doesn't go down as one of the best women fighters, um, in all of mixed martial arts, she will definitely go down as one of the most badass. 150%. I feel like my girl just tagged me in something, but now I can't see it. It's okay. I'll find it later. My fiance. Fiance is such a hard word to say. I feel like it's either girlfriend or wife. Fiance. I mean, yeah, fiance is like such an in between word that you only use for so long. So it's like it's hard to catch on, and then once it finally does catch on, you're done using it. So didn't even know the cutting board would melt. Yeah, I think that's going to be one of the more boring fights on the card. The Karolina Kowalkiewicz versus Dion Zaidan. I think it goes to split decision. I think it's going to be one of those things where two judges have it one way, the other judge has it the other way, and not taking anything away from either one of them. I'm just saying it'll probably be that close of a fight. They have pretty similar stand-up games, and neither one of them is really dominant as far as grappling. Um, and I just gave the slight edge to Jan Ziyanan. That's how you say her last name. Dude. I can't say Asian names to save my life. Her last name is Xiaonan. Couldn't say it if I wanted to, unless I'm saying it right. And if that's the case, I'm a fucking genius. What can I say? But I don't think I'm saying it right. I think I'm a little lost there. After that would bring us to the co-main event: Jimmy Crute versus Michelle. Again, not gonna say this right, man, but Oski Oskijish Oskijish. We're calling Michelle, so I don't want to fucking murder that again. So Michelle is 14-3-1. My man has 10 wins via TKO or knockout. He lost by submission to OSP back in September. That was his most recent fight. While Jimmy Crute is 10-1, his one loss was submission loss to Misha Serkinov in September, and he's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. That just goes to show how good Misha Serkinov is on the ground in Jiu-Jitsu positions, or they could just be just as good as each other, and Jimmy Crute just got caught. Either way, we've seen Jimmy Crute with a lot of knockout power. He knocked out Sam Alvey. Forget who the guy was that he fought before that, but Jimmy Crute has definitely shown a lot of knockout power in the UFC, and Michelle has done the same. I see a lot of people picking Jimmy Crute, and I believe the reason they're picking Jimmy Crute is because the biggest loss that they have UFC wise is Misha Serkinov is valued a little bit higher than OSP as far as a loss. But I think that Michelle is just going to outstrike him. I think it's going to be a very close fight, and it's going to be whoever lands that big punch. They both have that big punch, the big kicks. They both have those power. But I think Michelle is going to be the first person to get to the strike. Is going to be the first one to beat Crute as far as speed and quickness. Maybe not speed, but quickness. Because Jimmy Crute probably has a little bit of advantage in speed, but quickness I think is going to go to Michelle. And I got Michelle versus via TKO, or he might rock him and then get a submission win. Either way, I got Michelle. Paul Felder, Dan Hooker in your main event. Paul Felder 17-4, 3 out of 4 of his losses are via decision. He's on a 2-fight winning streak right now with wins over James Vick and then Edson Barbosa in 2019. He's 5-1 since 2017. His only loss was a split decision loss to Mike Perry. A very close fight with Mike Perry, a war. Paul Felder is known to go to war. Very, very important to remember is that he did beat Edson Barbosa. He's able to withstand Edson Barbosa the entire fight and outclass him the entire fight. Now we go to Dan Hooker, who's 19-8. 5 out of 8 of his losses are also via decision. He's also on a 2-fight winning streak over Alan Quinta and James Vick in 2019. And then he's 6-1 in 2000. He's 6-1 since 2017, and his only loss was via TKO to Edson Barbosa. Edson Barbosa, the same one that Paul Felder was able to outclass. Edson Barbosa beat him because him and Dan Hooker went to war, and Edson Barbosa hit him with so many body shots that in the 4th round, Dan Hooker's body just couldn't take no more. He couldn't take the body shots anymore. He caught, I think it was a smooth jab or maybe a straight right to the body, and just immediately went down. TKO win for Edson Barbosa. If Dan Hooker did not finish or did not fix his cardio issues, he will be in a lot of trouble. Now, when Dan Hooker fought at 155, he took losses to guys like Jason Knight and Yair Rodriguez, significantly smaller than Paul Felder. Not to say much because it was a little while ago, but still, it's things to look at. Like I said earlier, I think the biggest problem for Dan Hooker is his gas tank, and if he doesn't fix that, he's going to be in for some issues against Paul Felder. Because Paul Felder can go the full 5 rounds, and he can put it on you for the full 5 rounds. So we'll see what happens there. I got Paul Felder. Also on the card, Jake Matthews, Emil Meek, Callan Potter, Song Can, Kai Kara France versus Tyson Nam, Loma Look Sunmi versus Angela Hill, Maki Patilio versus Takashi Sato, Priscilla Cachoeira versus Shayna Dobson, and Jalen Turner versus Joshua Kabulo. Pretty good card. I wouldn't say top to bottom. I think the Cachoeira fight versus Shayna Dobson is going to be a little bit back and forth, but not really a lot of action. Takashi Sato fight should be pretty good. Angela Hill, like I said, Donald Cerrone of the women's MMA. She's just fighting all the time. She fought on this card. I want to say she might have even fought on the Greenville card. She fought on this card was January 25th. Now February, 1 month later. She's taking a short notice fight against Loma Luxumi. That's how you say her name. Fucking, I don't know, man. She can't say weird last names. But that should be a good fight. Kai Kara France, Tyson Nam should be a great fight. Callan Potter, Song Kian, that's a hit or miss fight. And then Jake Matthews and Emil Meek's also going to be a banger. So leading up to the main event, I think there's a lot of potential in the prelims. And then when it comes to the main event, you got just madness. The Karolina Kovacevic fight may be a hit or miss fight. But other than that, just fucking top to bottom. Jimmy Crute versus Michelle, Paul Felder, Dan Hooker, Kevin Aguilar, Zybura, Brad Riddle, Magomed Mustavev, and then Ben Sassoli, Marcos, Rogério de Lima. I'm not taking anything away from the girls' fights, but those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fights are going to be fucking hold on to your fucking hat. You know what I mean? You're going to be going for a ride. And I can't wait. I'm hyped up. Also, this Saturday is Tyson Fury versus Deontay Wilder. I almost said his name wrong. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. But Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder. I thought Tyson Fury won the first fight, although he got knocked down. So I'm also going to pick Tyson Fury for the rematch. And then just wanted to share a little bit of news with everybody that I just seen on Twitter before I got on here. Right before I did the first stream that fucking whacked out with the no sound. Andre Arlovski will fight Felipe Lins at UFC Oklahoma City on May 2nd. So Andre Arlovski's back. It's fucking weird, man. This guy just won't give up. Chad Skelly is out of his fight with Grant Dawson. He will now fight Derek Minner at UFC Norfolk. Norfolk's a cool place for UFC events too, by the way. I went to Norfolk last year. I think the poster's up there. Well, maybe it's not. Oh yeah, we didn't get a poster the first time we went to Norfolk. Whatever. I'll have to find it. It was Dustin Poirier, Anthony Pettis. Another update, Derek Brunson, Edmund Shabazian was set for UFC 248 in Las Vegas. They are now moving that to co-headline UFC Portland on April 11th. Mauricio Shogun Hua is back, and he will fight Antonio Rogero Nogueira Minotauro. Little Nog, in other words. UFC 250 in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Two Brazilians. That should be a great fight. Chris Weidman will make a return to middleweight. He will fight Jack Hermanson on May 2nd in Oklahoma City. I think that could possibly be the main event. Maybe not, though. Don't hold me to that. It's literally the only fight. Yada, yada, yada. Main event gets canceled. That's not how the UFC's in big trouble. Never mind. Let's see if this is how London. London is going to be Woodley versus Edwards, Jack Marshman, and Kevin Holland as the co-main event. I think that's what he was talking about the main event falling out and being in trouble. Patty fucking what's his name's got a fight. He's fighting some no-name ass motherfucker, which is weird because he kept talking shit to Joe Gannetti, saying Joe Gannetti fought nobodies, but this guy's fighting a fucking nobody. Weird. Who's he fighting? Davide Martinez, 8-2. 8-2. This guy is. Patty's 14-3. Patty has 17 total fights going against this guy with 10, which is not horrible. But this guy Davide has fought can crushers from the time he was brought up, so he's not on that like fought high level fighters. More news. Elias Theodorou has become the first professional athlete to ever receive a TUE, which is a therapeutic use exemption for medical cannabis after applying for one through the British Columbia Athletic Commissions. It's Canada. So Canada's cool. Canada let some shit happen. But that's cool that he's the first ever athlete to apply and receive that. Wilson Hayes, along with Juan Adams, who was just released by the UFC, have both signed with Aries Fighting Championship, who just started, I think, about a year ago. Well, that's pretty much it. That catches us up to last week, I think. Let me see. As far as news, breaking news. I don't know if I've even announced it on here yet, but we're going to cover in April 19th, I think it is, whatever that is, a Friday. We're going to cover Showcase MMA. Let me read out the card for you. A lot of local talent on there. That should be a bunch of fun. And then in July, we're actually going to cover that event and do live results, interview, shit like that. And then I think it's like maybe a month or so after that, 2 months, June. They'll also be having one pretty close to me, and we're going to go cover that one as well. Let me see. April 17th, sorry. See if they have a fight card yet. No, still. Whatever. They got mad fights announced for it. You don't want to miss this professional, yada, yada. And Showcase MMA is cool because they got professional fights, amateur fights, all the way down to youth grappling matches. It's pretty cool, man. It's cool just to see, all different types of fights. Let's see here. Amateur event. See, I'm talking about how they do they do like kids grappling matches. It's pretty cool, I think. Or Muay Thai. A youth 112-pound Muay Thai bout. So I'm going to be watching these kids look like they're maybe 10 to 13 years old fighting in a Muay Thai fight. It's going to be insane. I can't wait for that. That'll be the first time, because I've seen like videos and shit of it on the internet, of like kids fighting and like kids doing kickboxing and shit like that, but I've never like actually witnessed firsthand seen like kids fighting. I don't know. Pro fight, you got Jordan Weeks. They're just gonna call this guy Mason. What the fuck's his first name at? Oh, it just says Mason versus Weeks. I just know Jordan Weeks' first name. Oh, here it goes. Dylan Mason versus Jordan Weeks. Octavius Jones versus Nick Butler. Nick Butler, another local name that stands out. Travis Tisdale versus Preston Schick. Amateur bout, we got Chris Gonzo versus Zach Sanders. That should be a pretty good one. They changed Tisdale's opponent already. Oh, it's Anthony Tisdale's his brother. Anthony and Travis Tisdale both fighting on the card. Let's see if I can find any more. Baker. Oh, this should be a good one here. Brandon Bushaw versus Nick Baker. That should be a good fight. Good featherweight fight there. And then Trent Creech versus Cheyenne Kushar, however you say his name. That should also be it. Oh, and then I almost forgot, dude. Josh Oxidine, which I believe is the brother, maybe, or nephew or something of Casey Oxidine, who runs Showcase MMA. We'll be fighting William Wilson, and 145-pound pro MMA fight. Amateur fight, we got Luke Kennedy versus Paul Johnson. This should be another good one. Yeah, this shit's stacked top to bottom with just, I mean, people that like, you know, if you're like a casual, you wouldn't like know people's names offhand, but like if you like really, really paid attention, especially in the southeast area of the United States, you would know a lot of these people, and you would see that this is going to be a big, big card. Not in Myrtle Beach, but in Little River, which is close to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Should be a good one, man. The one in June is going to be in Greenville. So everybody watch out. Showcase MMA, Casey Oxidine. Search him, Facebook. I'm sure they got Twitter, Instagram, all that shit. Go follow him. A lot of very, very, very good up-and-coming fighters coming out of South Carolina. I know I've said before that South Carolina isn't really like a breaking ground for MMA, and it's not like the big gyms. There's a couple big gyms here and there, but it's not filled with crazy big gyms. It's not crazy big promotions, which Showcase isn't based out of South Carolina, so it's not really necessarily to say that, yeah, oh, there's a big promotion in South Carolina. They just come here. They're based out of Tennessee, so I still stand my ground with that. There's not a semi-big MMA promotion here in South Carolina, but they do have some pretty good gyms, and they have a lot of good, talented fighters coming out of here. And these guys will break out, and they will go to the Island fights, and they'll go to the Cage, King of the Cage, and they'll go to all these different places. They'll work their way up, and then eventually, you will see them in Bellator, the UFC, PFL, shit like that. So everybody keep your eyes out. Jordan Weeks is going to be one of them. Charleston Pugh, how do you say his name? Who else right off the top of my head? Trent Creech. Fucking Hyde. Javante Hyde, maybe. Can't think of his name. Off the top of my head, I'd have to see it to be like, oh, I'm saying it wrong. But a lot of talent, a lot of big, big, big talent that's going to be coming out of South Carolina in the next few years. But only time will tell. And our time has ran out here. We are going to wrap it up on to next Thursday. I say it every week, but I don't think we're doing anything this Saturday. We could be. Check back at the channel, but don't think we would be. Next week is actually Norfolk. It's happening quicker than I thought. You know, a slight thought went through my mind, like, oh, maybe I'll go to Norfolk this year. No, next week, not happening. Joey Benavidez, Davison Figueiredo. Decent card. Felicia Spencer's on the card. Megan Anderson a little bit further down on the card. Who else? Not a lot of big names. Luis Pena. He should be on the main card. I don't know why they got him so low right now. Hey man, they need to. That's not gonna be it. I'm actually kind of glad I didn't get tickets to that one because that one's fucking holy shit, man. On paper, it looks like that on paper. Maybe in fucking when it happens, it's a little different story. But on paper, that junk looks like hot garbage. We will see though. Back next Thursday. Everybody, make sure to come check it out. Use this mic from now on, so we don't have any issues with the hearing me. I went fucking like a whole 5-6 minutes in the 5, 6, 7 minutes in the first video. No sound. Nobody was hearing me. I was texting in the comments. Can you guys hear me? Nobody writes back. Fucking tardos, man. I don't know what the fuck to tell you. But next Thursday, man, we'll be back. Greg, good talking to you again. John Jones would smoke Tito Ortiz. Tito Ortiz probably wouldn't beat anybody except for smaller guys. And that one wrestler dude that he fought. And an old Chuck Liddell that's probably should have stopped fighting 10 years ago. But that's it. Except for Tito Ortiz. I don't think nobody else thinks. They gave him Chael Sonnen again. Chael Sonnen will fuck him up. Even though Chael Sonnen is smaller. But whatever. Till next time, we out, guys.